Hey everyone, this is George Moore, owner of Moore's Sewing Center in Southern California. And our next episode of Sewing Tech Talk with Cathy. Cathy features the new Baby Lock Applaud creative cover stitch machine. And now it's been made available that I can ship this nationwide. So stay tuned for after this episode to see a very special offer that I have for you on the Baby Lock Applaud.
You know, the Baby Lock Applaud, it takes creativity to the next level. I'm Cathy Brown. This is Sewing Tech Talk. I have been having so much fun on this machine, I had to ratchet myself back because I could just keep playing and playing and playing. In fact, all the threads I have, in all the combinations of the machine and the new micro inserts, oh my gosh, we have a lot to talk about because thread play on the Baby Lock Applaud, well, it's kind of limitless. So I don't know about you, but when I sew, I like to sew to create something different. I like to just make something that maybe nobody else has. Just the journey of sewing it is exciting. Getting to play with the colors and the fabrics and, well, that's what I've been doing on the Baby Lock Applaud. It's a creative cover stitch machine. And what it is, well, you know, a cover stitch is that two threads and it's on the bottom of your knits and there's the back that covers that edge. That's why it's called a cover stitch. It also makes a chain stitch. Well, this machine does all that. And of course, it's a baby lock, it self threads, and it has some other really cool features as well. But it also has the wiper system on the top. What does that mean? Well, that means you can add different decorative threads on the top, up to 2, and they crisscross back and forth and create a really beautiful top creative cover stitch effect. And you can do that with a chain stitch as well. There's all different combinations with that. But the other thing is that there are different accessories for the machine, just like for the other Baby Lock machines. So there's attachments that manipulate the fabric before it gets there. There's different feet that you could use. But like I mentioned, this wiper foot that's on the machine, there's micro inserts. What does that mean? Well, that means in the foot itself, there's a little insert in the front, a little plastic, and the standard one comes with the machine. The standard one looks like this, and it has the 3 little red marks to know where your needle position is, right? So when you're stitching, you can hit the mark. But there's also different ones. There's a stitch in the ditch. I've done a different video on that. Don't think of it as it's not just quilting stitch in the ditch. There's some really cool things that you can do with that. So I encourage you to check out that video as well. But there's also a cording and taping insert. What does that mean? Well, it looks just like this. And these little inserts, what they do is they have different size openings for you to put cording or ribbon and stitch it over with that creative top stitch. Or you don't even have to do the creative top stitch. You can just do a standard, you could just put tape or ribbon down using that standard insert. That's not a feature that's on the other sergers. It puts it down and it stitches it down beautifully. So either whether you're doing that regular cover stitch and stitching a ribbon down, or you're adding cord or ribbons. Imagine the combinations and the possibilities. I have different threads that are doing that wiper effect on the top. I have different cords and ribbons that I'm putting through. Different color fabric. I can put even a really thick, beautiful thread in the cover stitch looper. Imagine all the combinations. I can make reversible fabric. I can put trims on things. Have you ever gone to the store and you found a fabric sorta, kinda, and it really, maybe it didn't have all the color cues that you needed or it didn't match? Well, imagine that you could add something to the top of that fabric to not only give it texture, but add the different colors. It takes it to the next level. So, cords and ribbons? Absolutely. But what if you're saying to me right now, I don't think I have a bunch of cords. But you do. If you have thread, you have a machine, you have cord. Why? Because it's a baby lock. It can stitch in the air all by itself, thank you very much. So what I've done, I've made some of my own cords. And here's what they look like. I had a whole bunch of thread, and I put the combinations of the threads together, and I made my own cord. How do you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. I put some regular serger thread in the machine. Now I could have put more. This could have been a 12 weight. It could have been something different. And in the wipers, I put a metallic thread. Now this metallic thread doesn't work I don't know where I got it, but it doesn't want to play in anything else. But I'm putting it in the wipers and it works great. It adds a little bit of sparkle. And I'm using a 12 weight cotton. I have the machine all set up, and I'm just going to stitch a narrow cover stitch in the air. And guess what, my friends? It's making me a cord. Yards and yards and yards of cord. I might even go as far as to say you're kind of making your own yarn, aren't you? Well, I kind of used it that way, and I crocheted myself some flowers, and I put them on my purse. So you have cord if you have thread, even thread that doesn't kind of work in anything else. You can make something beautiful with it. So now let's explore some of those micro inserts because they're pretty cool. Then let's just start with the beginning. What kind of thread or ribbon can you use? Well, I have discovered that if you go into the yarn store or the yarn department of the big box store, you can find some knitting ribbon, right? So here's some knitting ribbon right now. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? This is also some knitting ribbon I found somewhere, and this is the one I used on this. Now see how pretty this is, the 3 equal I mean, look how gorgeous that is. That would be a beautiful border in a quilt. I could use that as part of my piecing in my quilt. And it's just some ribbon that I bought up. And I didn't even use that decorative creative cover stitch on the top of it. I just stitched it down with the regular cover stitch because I had the insert that really helps that work. Now one thing I'm going to share with you, when you're stitching on something like this, actually, I kind of make sure that my fabric, this is kind of a very lightweight fabric, maybe a little bit lighter weight than a quilting cotton. I want to make sure that my fabric's a little bit, stiff. So I use some Best Press 2 on it, and that gives it some body. You could also use starch, you could use Terreal Magic, anything to give that fabric some body. Okay, so now let's stitch on something. Let me show you what I'm trying to do. So I did this, and in the other video I showed, I actually put the part of the zipper in. But I'm going to make another part of this bag. There's all kinds of different fun experiments and combinations that I did using that stitch in the ditch foot. Actually here I did stitch some cording down, just so I'm experimenting so I know that when you were coming I knew what I was doing. So let's take some fabric. Here's some pink, and it doesn't actually go, does it? But let's put some thread on it and let's change the look of this so that I'm getting something a little bit more matchy to the other. And we're going to use one of these micro insert foots. I have some cording I've already put in it. Let's get this. Now there's 6 different ones with 6 different sizes in the kit. So I've taken one and I've preloaded it. Let me kind of get everything organized here. And I put it through. There's 2 different slots, so I came under and down, and I actually have 4 threads going through this slot right here. And it's going to hold them in position while I'm doing my stitching. Now right now I have a narrow cover stitch. I was using that to make my cord, but I want a wide cover stitch for this, and it's really pretty simple. I'm going to take my Allen wrench, and I'm just going to move that one needle over to the right. I really don't have to make any adjustments. Now I do have some adjustments here for the cover stitch looper and for the needles. I usually don't have to do that. If I did, I'm going to do a little experiment on a sample and check it out. I think I'm going to be just fine. Now, let's take this insert with all of my threads on it and put it in the wiper foot. I'm going to raise my presser foot. By the way, you do have a knee lever that comes with the machine. I'm not set up here for the video that really helps me use that for you, but I have a knee lever where I can just swipe my knee to the right, and it's going to lift and lower that presser foot for me. I have all my little cording put in there, even 2 that I made, and I'm just going to slide this insert on. And I'm going to make sure that it's nice and flat. It's not below and it's not above. And you're going to find that sweet Goldilocks spot for it. I just want to make sure that everything's fine. If I have it raised up, it's going to block those wipers from going, and I don't want to do that. So let's bring this to the back, and I'm going to put my cords in my lap so that they flow nice. You know, anytime you use a serger, it's all about the flow. I got so much stuff here, I'm all mixed up. Here we go. Okay. Now, let's take this pink fabric and let's change it to something that's a little bit more matching to my other. I'm going to take it, put it under the wiper foot, lower the presser foot. Now on this machine I have needle up and needle down. And whenever I raise the presser foot, it's going to lower the feed dogs, which is a super great feature for helping you place everything where you need it to be. So I'm going to put it right there and kind of tame my cords just a little bit. Let's see what we get. So now I've come to the end. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to serge off. I'm going to see if I can make a really pretty cord by stitching over cords. You know what I'm saying. So that's pretty cool. There's where I stitched and added some dimension to that pink. But check it out. I just kept stitching off and I have a really, really pretty cord. Now I'm using white thread and the 2 needles, but if I used a different color, you can see how I can actually have something that's really, really neat. I don't know what I'm going to do with that cord, but maybe I could do a hand. I don't know. I'll find something. But can you see that you can take thread, make a cord, and then make more cord over the top of stitching of your regular cord? Like I said, you know, the creative possibilities in this are almost endless. So now, let's talk about some other options you have for stitching with these taping feet. I'm going to clip my threads. Where'd I put my scissors? And I'll revisit that a little bit later. Remember how I said you could change kind of the look of fabric? Well, I have a quilt that I'm going to do, and that's when I picked up this yarn, this ribbon yarn ribbon, whatever it is. Now, when you find this yarn ribbon, there are tons of different things in there, and it's very economical. If you've ever gone into the trim section, you know that your selection is super limited and the prices aren't limited at all, if you know what I mean. So if you go into sometimes a yarn store, you can get an entire ball of knitting ribbon, and well, the price is easier on the budget than just getting, you know, a little bit of thread for a lot of money. So now I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm going to kind of modify some fabrics that I'm going to do for a quilt, because I want to spice them up just a little bit. I want kind of an autumny, jungly kind of look. Well, you'll see what I mean. So I'm still going to use these blues. I think it's going to pick up some of the blue in my ribbon. I'm simply going to put the insert in. I've threaded it from the bottom up, and I have the yarn, I mean not the yarn, it is yarn, but it's not yarn. I have, oops, lift the presser foot so you can get in there. Take the other one out first. And I'm just going to take my ribbon yarn and I'm going to pull it to the back and make sure it flows through really nice. And here's my fabrics I'm going to modify just a little bit. Remember I showed you this one where I have the ribbons coming through? Well, I'm going to have just some coming across these pieces, these different colors. I think it's going to take these fabrics and make them a little bit more matchy, but not, but kind of. And you can see how the colors are going to change. Now I have different options when I have my cover stitch. I have the stitch length that I can do, and so I'm going to take it to the little bit of the maximum because I want more of this ribbon to show. But if I brought it down to the shortest stitch length, well then I have a lot more of that top thread on the top showing. So that really changed the look of my fabric. So now when I put my quilt together, I can cut my pieces, or I can just put some like raw yarn or ribbon on the top of them, and then that will give me a really cool look. There's some other options that you can use for your ribbon or your tape. I found this kind of cording. Now this might be a little bit large. You kind of want something that's going to fit in that micro insert. This I found, this is pretty fun. This is in the holiday department. This is that elastic ribbon or whatever, and it's an elastic cord. It's kind of this gold color. Can you imagine stitching over the top of it and then using that and maybe having gathering of your fabric? This is, I actually don't know what the name of this is. I found it in my stash of treasures. I think it's called ribbon floss. There's all kinds of different options of things that you can use. Remember, you're going to take it, kind of put it through your little micro insert, and then see what you can do. Now, the machine, the Applaud, also comes with a standard presser foot and an ankle. You don't have to have that wiper on there all the time, but you need the wiper foot on to use the micro inserts. But this is the standard foot that comes with the machine. There are other feet that you can use on the machine with that ankle that comes with it. This is the clear foot. This is an official baby lock clear foot. It actually has a slot in the front. So you could use ribbon coming through the top of that and underneath the foot. And that would work as well. This is the Ultra T serger foot. It's a special composite resin material, and it really slides really easy over the top of things. Remember, you can't use the wiper function with it, but if you were to stitch down some, say you wanted to stitch down some ribbon, it also has a slot on the top too, and this is going to go great over vinyl or anything that's kind of sticky and it doesn't want to work. And it also eliminates friction. So if you're stitching with your regular serger and things are kind of not going very well, well, you might want to try your Ultra T foot. Lots of different choices. Now, I told you I made my own yarn, and I made a purse, right? So I made used the belt loop binder in another video called Thread Pay on the the Applaud. But look how fun this is. I took the yarn that I made and I crocheted different flowers. These are the belt loops that I made. And it's reversible on the other side. So I can guarantee you nobody has my purse. And I think it's just kind of fun. I think I need to go on a date on the town and take my flower purse with me. Thank you for watching me. I hope you enjoyed thread play on the Applaud. Remember, combinations, there's no wrong combination. The only wrong combination is one that doesn't give you what you're shooting for. So embellish some fabric, embellish some garments, take it to the next level. Make some yarn. I'm going to shoot it off to George, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about the Applaud. Thank you for watching me, and get out there and get creative.
Thanks, Cathy. That was incredible. And you too can have the Baby Lock Applaud for yourself at home. And we have a very special offer. The manufacturer suggested retail price on the Baby Lock Applaud is $44.99. And we have it on sale for $34.99. We have interest-free payments and free shipping across the country. But wait, we have a bonus. This special bonus includes 10 of the most popular feet that work with the Baby Lock Applaud. And there's so many wonderful things that you can do with the different stitch aspects using these feet. I love the double fold bias binder. We have both 10 millimeter and 15 millimeter. And truly, you can add that extra finish right on even a quilt edge. It's so incredible. You also have the large 36 millimeter double fold bias binder. And again, so many cool things you can do with this here. You have a belt loop binder, and the belt loop binder, it folds a belt loop so that you can make straps, and adding that different texture. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. It has a fabric guide, a hemmer guide that's so simple just to fold a hem. It's a beautiful stitch quality on whatever fabric you want to. It also has a single downturn feller and a single fold bias binder. The single fold bias binder, I love this because it gives us a much smaller edge, and so it just gives that extra little bit of texture or color for the project that you love. It also comes with a Teflon foot and a clear foot. But also we have this bag that comes with it, so everything is organized in this wonderful bag, as well as this full color description of every single foot that I just talked about. So all that's included. That has a value of $349, and it's included free for a limited time with the Applaud purchase. So you don't want to wait. This is limited to stock on hand. Again, you get this bonus that's valued at $349 free with the Applaud purchase. So if you have any questions, you can click on the link to find out more information and purchase this Applaud, or email us at customerservice@moores-sew.com, or call us at 1-800-865-9664. Bye for now.